Welcome to Subramani. This is continuing the series. Of course, even if you see it separately, it's okay. Now you're 3 years away from retirement, or what should you be doing now? One, very aggressively track your net worth. You need to know how much is your net worth, how much it is increasing, what is happening, what is the asset allocation. Because at the age of 60, which is 3 years from now, you need to create your bucket number 1 from where you're going to withdraw. And remember to accumulate enough money in bucket number 1, because from there you're going to do a systematic withdrawal plan. So and 3 years is the long-term thing. So this is exactly the time when you should be starting to feed your bucket number 1 with all your cash investments. So that is your bucket number 1 from where you're going to withdraw at 60. You're already 57, or you're 3 years away from retirement. You need to track your net worth, track your expenses. This is a time by which you should have tracked your expenses for the last 3-4 years, right? So if you've done that, great. If you have not done that, start now. Look at your healthcare requirements. If you have not taken any medical insurance on your own, this is the time to move in. Your company may be willing to talk to your insurance company and say, oh, this man is retiring, so please take this part of the policy and give it to him. So this way you get your track record of not having made any claim. So that is an advantage. So do that, or at least start taking some insurance of your own. Take insurance, take top up, and take super top up. Do this. It's a good time to be doing all this when you're 3 years away from retirement. Find out whether you're reaching that 30x of your expenses. So if your expenses, I will continue to call my expenses 5 lakhs per year because it's easy to calculate. And do I have 1.5 crores, right? So that is the first question to ask. Again, going by the bucket theory, on which I have done videos, so please go and see the bucket theory. First bucket is 2 to 4 years. So out of your 1.5 crores, your 4 years expenses means about 20 lakhs should be in bucket number 1. Another 7-8 years expenses in bucket number 2. So another 40 lakhs should be in bucket number 2. So 20 plus 40, 60 lakhs is gone. 90 lakhs should be in bucket number 3, which has got longer term equity and those kind of assets. So now you know all the numbers, you can put them together. You should have at least 1.5 crores because 5 lakhs is your annual expense. Anything more than that is good. I see people with 30, 40, 50, 100 times their expenses, so they are very comfortable. Now you start defining how much should be there in each bucket. Worry about taxation, because if you're not worried about taxation, you will keep money in bank fixed deposits. Don't do that. That's very inefficient. It is time when you start feeding in your bucket number 1, because you're going to withdraw from there. Your bucket number 2 and bucket number 3, at least take all your assets and say bucket 1, bucket 2, bucket 3. Start doing the classification. Monitor your expenses throughout the year, including how much are you spending on Diwali, Holi, things like that, how much you're going to spend on travel. Travel money should ideally come from bucket number 3, so you will travel when the markets are doing well, or you will remove money from the markets and for your travel. So decide on how you're going to withdraw from where, what travel are you going to do, where are you going to stay. Maybe you getting a club membership makes sense. I have a club membership in Bombay which allows me access to very good clubs, right, in Pune, in Bangalore, in Chennai, in Kolkata, in Vizag, you name it, and there will Amritsar, right, all those places they have some affiliates, so that's a good thing to do. Or you join some mutt which allows you access to those places. You decide what you want to do, but start planning that, right? 3 years is, time just flies. You will not even realize 3 years is just about 36 months. You translate this, it will be about 1000 days, and then you start creating your countdown counter, saying, oh, 1000 days, 999, it will start happening, right? Capture your big expenses also. Some taxes that you pay could be big, some medical insurance. So plan the cash flow. Maybe that cash flow for the medical insurance comes from bucket number 3, because the markets are doing well, or from bucket number 2, or in bucket number 1, make sure that you provided for all expenses. You obviously are debt free. If you're not debt free, this is a great time to try to become debt free. Take money from somewhere, take money from your PPF or somewhere and pay off the debt. You don't want too much debt hanging around you, but of course PPF money is tax free, so be careful. Consider taxation also. If the amount of debt is very small and you know you're going to be paid down in 6 months, don't bother. If the amount is such that you're going to pay it off in 5-6 years, then it is a bother, because you want to go into retirement debt free, right? consider hiring a financial professional at this stage if you have not hired, because that person will be, and make sure that he is at least 45-50 years of age and understands taxation and understands retirement, right? Both these things are important, and if he does not understand, make sure that you have a financial planner and a tax advisor, and you take the burden of making sure that these guys are working in tandem, right? So that is your job. So this was what you should have done, you should be doing when you're 3 years away. When you're 2 years away, of course you have to intensify all this. You have to make sure that the expense tracking is going on well. Your wife is understanding why you're tracking the expenses. You find out how much is the inflation applicable to you, because 3 years if you have tracked expenses, you know where what is inflation to each of those expenses. Find out what is a recurring expense, what is not a recurring expense. This is a great time to be doing all that. You know your